To put this in perspective, a new Kaiser Family Foundation poll shows that Black adults are starting to come around to the vaccine, but still 35% say they won't take it. You can still do character meet and greets. You see, they have the social distancing markers, so they're going to keep people away from the characters, but they're raised up. So if you still want to take a selfie, you can. I'm currently on hold with Mauricio Chiropractic. We arrived here about 15 minutes before closing time, but the door was already locked. I tried to reach both employees for this story. With no luck, we called. This little Christmas tree was just planted this year, and it takes about 4 years for a Florida variety of Christmas tree to get to an ideal height. So you can see some of the trash. There is this fence, but take a look. The gate's wide open, and in the last hour and a half, I learned this property is owned by Duke Energy, and it's in charge of cleaning it up. Say I parked about here, but still wanted to continue shopping without getting a ticket. I would have to move within my allotted time, but then find another spot at least 500 feet away. Only rural districts had voluntary mask policies, which means we don't know what a voluntary mask policy would do to districts with urban cities like Orlando. This school year, when the school bell rang, most students had to wear a mask. Some parents were for it. Do you think it's necessary?
Yes, I do. I am very much pro-mask.
Others against kids having to cover up.
They just wore down on them, so we opted to just go fully virtual.
This dad was happy with Commissioner of Education Richard Corcoran's memo stating, quote, "The data shows us the district's face covering policies do not impact the spread of the virus. I requested the data from the Department of Education and received it in this email Thursday night, then shared it with public health statistician and Texas A&M professor emeritus Eric Solomon and Jason Salami, an epidemiologist and professor at the University of South Florida College of Public Health."
Based off that data, does it show that masks don't work in schools?
Yeah, so I go by not only that information, but the information that was also cited in the recent Morbidity Mortality Weekly Report by some very well-respected authors from the Florida Department of Health. And I did not see evidence that masks don't work.
The state looked at information from 27 Florida counties with optional face covering policies, all rural, the largest Marion County with 41,000 students.
It's important to realize that 93% of the population of students are in a county or a school district that did implement mask mandates.
Without info from any urban districts, Solomon and Salami say there's no data to confirm or deny mask effectiveness in schools. Now, for this story, we did once again ask to interview Commissioner Richard Corcoran, but that request was denied. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to look at a CDC report that also looked at Florida schools and used some of that same information the state sent us, why it's recommending that masks still be used. Reporting live in Orlando, Sierra Pupin, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
This is a Scotch.
Jody Utzman with Santa's Christmas Tree Forest in Eustis.
And these are our Fraser trees.
Knows her trees. This year, there were fewer northern varieties like the Fraser firs.
They can hold a heavier ornament.
We were there when the shipments from Michigan came in. They had 26 less trees than expected. Her supplier in North Carolina is also running low.
He had a waiting list of 200 people that were clamoring for his trees.
In downtown Orlando, Anthony Rosani is facing the same issues. He says Fraser firs between 6 to 8 feet tall are really hard to find. His advice to families:
go out early and get them because the supply is short, prices are high.
The National Christmas Tree Association says during the 2008 recession, sales went down, so tree farmers planted less. That smaller crop is just now maturing. Utzman says native Florida trees are in abundance, but they aren't as popular. This little Christmas tree was just planted this year, and it takes about 4 years for a Florida variety of Christmas tree to get to an ideal height. But it takes a lot longer for those northern varieties. They take about 10 years to grow. Nationwide, prices may go up 5 to 10%. Rosani says shipping and labor made his go up even more. Utzman hasn't raised prices yet, but that may change next year.
Vaccination portal.
71-year-old Eddie Shelton was optimistic Tuesday.
I was hoping to go out and get my vaccination.
He had this barcode. He didn't know everyone gets it when creating an account on the CDR Health website. It's for testing, not confirmation of a vaccination appointment.
I've been here for 3 hours. You've got to give me the shot. And they said there's nothing that we can do. It was completely a stonewall.
Confirmed vaccination appointments come with a QR code. Look, it's square.
Got up there, and then they also informed me that this had been happening quite a bit. So they knew they had a problem, and they didn't send anybody out to the beginning of the line, the 3-hour line, to warn people away, which I thought was inexcusable.
Which is why he's speaking out. The health department says screeners are now looking at the codes, but says the confusion stemmed from CDR Health. The vendor is now changing the wording that comes with barcodes in part because of our reporting. Messages now state the barcode is for COVID-19 testing only. A more user-friendly website is also in the works.
Text bigger and the boxes that you need to check bigger and larger to help individuals that may not be as technologically savvy, or if you're like me and you have fat fingers, it's just a little easier to use.
Right now, the portal for vaccination appointments is closed after 42,000 appointments were made, more appointments than doses. When it reopens, make sure to pick a date and time for shot number 1 and shot number 2. Both are required. Sheldon says he won't return to the convention center.
No, I'll never go back there again. No, I don't trust myself.
And if you drive down Indian Hill Road, you can see some of the trash. There is this fence, but take a look. The gate's wide open. And in the last hour and a half, I learned this property is owned by Duke Energy, and it's in charge of cleaning it up. Kathy Devlin grew up in Pine Hills. As a kid, what did it look like out there?
It was grass, actually. Nice, clean, pretty green grass. And we used to play baseball out there as a kid. And it was fun. We had ballparks and everything. But not lately.
Because instead of bases to run, there's piles of trash.
There's a dishwasher, there's monitors, there's dressers.
She just called in the fall to report the problem.
I tried calling the power company, since it's called the power easement, and they said no, it was the county's property. So I called the county, they said no, it is the power easement, so you need to call the power company.
It got cleaned up last year, but then the illegal dumping started up again.
2 weeks ago, I'm woken up in the middle of the night of hearing wood dropping.
She called Eyewitness News because she was tired of getting the runaround.
I just kept getting stuck in that loop.
I learned Duke Energy owns this land and is responsible for cleanup. The company says it's a problem it's been fighting for 5+ years. It says locks on the fence keep getting cut. Duke says residents can call its customer care line for help. Devlin says that's all she wanted to know.
Because unfortunately, this is probably going to happen again. And I don't want that to happen, but it will. And I just want to know who to call.
And Duke Energy says somebody will be out here to assess the damage within the week, and then cleanup will take place shortly after that. Now, on our website, web links, we are going to post Duke Energy's customer care line, as well as a number for the county code enforcement. Reporting live in Orange County, Sierra Putman, Channel 9, Eyewitness News. And a lot of people are just at their wits' end, coming up to us trying to get some information. Many people are wondering if this down power line here at Merrill Park Drive is to blame. Duke Energy just gave me an update telling me that their problem is a feeder line that was severely damaged by these down trees. And the Duke Energy spokesperson tells me they currently have a team on the ground trying to find an alternative way to get the lights on here. Mike Lever says for 6 days he stayed in his apartment here at Timberlake Apartments.
All right. Here we go. Oh, wow. I call this the heat box.
He stayed to save money and protect his collection of autographed memorabilia.
Kobe jersey.
Lever says last night he stayed at a friend's house because he couldn't take it anymore, telling me the temperature peaked at 91 degrees.
Oh, it's at 86 now, but that's still hot.
Duke Energy first promised to restore power by the end of day Sunday, but Lever says that time frame has changed.
No, they said midnight, then they said Tuesday, now they're saying Thursday.
His neighbor Billy Hatala says he got a different story from Duke.
But it's not going to be till Wednesday. I'm like, are you kidding me? And she's trying to tell me, well, they're out working trying to find it. And we're just getting so frustrated here. You can't sleep at night. I mean, and Duke Energy's not doing anything.
Over the phone, a Duke Energy spokesperson told me the company brought in 12,000 personnel, including contractors, to help with Irma repairs in Florida. She said most crews are working 16 hours during the day, but they also have 40 overnight crews in Central Florida. But residents along Jamestown Boulevard in Altamont Springs keep telling Channel 9 they haven't seen those crews in a couple of days. At this point, there are still hundreds, possibly thousands of apartments and condo units without power here.
We're not stressing out over Irma. That's a natural disaster. We all understand that, and it's all Duke Energy.
And it's been dozens of people who tell us that they have not seen crews out here. However, a Duke Energy spokesperson tells me they do have a crew trying to figure out an alternative way to get the power on here along Jamestown Boulevard because, again, that main feeder line was badly damaged by trees that fell down. Reporting live in Seminole County, Sierra Putman, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.